howdy do, my name's Amethyst, and as summertime approaches, LEGO are starting to double down on the set reveals, so get ready, because there's a lot of ground to cover.
Starting with LEGO Creator, the first set I'm going to talk about is the Space Roller Coaster, a simple but effective ride build that is full of life thanks to its space-themed design, and the options to build a drop ride and a carousel are equally praiseworthy. Last up is the Main Street, a visually stunning selection of buildings with colourful exteriors and details, with the only criticism being its small interior space, and the alternative builds consisting of a 4-floor Art Deco apartment and an archway are also incredible. Now it's time to move on to the LEGO Superheroes themes, which have teamed up to expand the construction figure line that started in 2022, and these interpretations of Batman, Captain America and Wolverine are relatively decent, with their face prints being the one aspect that truly won me over. Not to mention, the Batman one is a massive improvement over the 2012 equivalent. But the one superhero set I'm more likely to get is the Captain America and Black Widow motorbikes, which offers two solid and chunky bikes for £13, and minifigures are also a win, with the same Captain America from the 2021 4+ bike and the brand new Black Widow making an excellent combo. Now it's time to talk about LEGO Disney, which is still going all out on the Centenary sets, starting with Disney Duos, a mixed bag of brick-built animal statues of varying quality. The Pua and Heihei statues are okay, whilst Miko looks awful. Luckily, Percy, Squirt, Nemo, Lumiere and Cogsworth look fantastic. Last up is Villain Icons, a deluxe hodgepodge including a VHS tape, VHS boxes, a book, a poison apple, a pocket watch and a playing card. But the real draw is the minifigures, all of which are fantastic, with most of them appearing in minifigure form for the first time. Now it's time to move on to LEGO City, starting with the Car Wash, a simple but effective set for a concept that isn't usually explored in a theme. Up next is the Ice Cream Parlor, another small but effective set for a much needed concept. Up next is the Street Skate Park, and as an owner of the 2021 skate park, I can easily say that this is a different take with no sign of blatant rehashing. Up next is the Ski and Climbing Center, a great looking sports set that will definitely create a lot of fun, imaginative play. Up next is the Arctic Snowmobile, a simple vehicle build that will probably attract consumers through its inclusion of seals. Up next is the Arctic Explorer Truck and Mobile Lab, which is exactly what it says on the tin, and it looks fairly solid. Up next is the Arctic Explorer Ship, a phenomenal looking vessel, which feels like a while since one of the massive boat models released. Up next is the Underwater Exploration Ship, a solid and colourful hovercraft, nothing more, nothing less. Up next is the Deep Sea Submarine, a slick looking sub with a fairly unique design. Up next is the Construction Trucks and Wrecking Ball, a 4+ set that may look basic, but it manages to squeeze in an entire construction site in one box, which is quite impressive. Up next is Family House and Electric Car, a pretty nice and small alternative to the LEGO Ideas A-frame cabin, which makes up for its lack of interior space with an eye-catching exterior design. Up next is the Apartment Building, and this residential department looks very flashy, as if it was trying to take some cues from the new LEGO Friends sets. If that's the case, it's definitely working. Last up is Downtown, and this is a beautiful model full of slick designs and fun details, giving me LEGO Friends vibes right off the bat. Now it's time to move on to LEGO Monkey Kid, starting with Monkey Kid's Cloud Airship, a solid looking vehicle that looks like a land vehicle attached to a blimp. Up next is Maze Guardian Dragon. Even though it's a mechanical interpretation, this set is long overdue because it looks like an actual representation of the White Dragon from Journey to the West, and it also looks pretty solid. Up next is the Mighty Azure Lion, and this looks like a furry approach to the Great Mechs this theme is known for, and this one is also a great looking mech. Last up is the Dragon of the East Palace, and this playset looks gorgeous thanks to its many eye-catching details, and I even like how lived in the interiors look. Now it's time to move on to LEGO Friends, which is still proving to be my favourite slice of life theme. First up is Beach Buggy Fun, a decent 4+ vehicle with the usual building standards, even if the waterside build is an instant scene stealer. Up next is the Beach Amusement Park, a fantastic boardwalk resort full of fun and irresistible details for the various attractions. Up next is the Sea Rescue Boat, a chunky and very flashy vessel, nothing more, nothing less. Up next is the Sea Rescue Plane, a decent looking plane with the same aesthetics as the previous set. Up next is the Sea Rescue Center, a slick and shiny building full of fun, imaginative play opportunities. Up next is the Sports Center, a lively playset full of multiple activities that'll create a ton of imaginative play. Up next is Horse Training, the least interesting set of the wave, but it looks like it offers the bare essentials. Up next is Autumn's Horse Stable, a worthy companion to her house/January that gives off a nice country charm to it. Up next is the Newsroom Van, a nice looking vehicle with a tree side build that tells a very daring environmentalism story. Up next is the Heart Lake City Bus, a very shiny and eye-catching vehicle with the extra benefit of disability access. Up next is the Pancake Shop, a decent but very pretty small building to rival last January's donut shop. Up next is the Heart Lake City Community Kitchen, a fantastic mid-scale building full of eye-popping colours, and the extra addition of including Leo's family is a nice bonus. Last up is the Heart Lake City Community Centre, a drop-dead gorgeous skyscraper jam-packed with a lot of irresistible details and colours, and the fact that it can combine with the community kitchen is a brilliant novelty. Not to mention, this set includes Stephanie as an adult, which will certainly have first-gen fans excited. Now it's time to dive straight into a couple of brand new themes being introduced this year, starting with LEGO Gabby's Dollhouse, a 4+ theme based on the hit preschool TV show from DreamWorks Television Animation. The first set I want to talk about is Bakey with Cakey Fun, which offers a small kitchen and a giant cake, so if you love cakes, this set will probably be a treat. Up next is Gabby and Mercat's Ship and Spa, a fairly decent looking boat that makes the most of its limitations. Up next is Kitty Fairy's Garden Party, a rainbow-drenched set with the main attraction being a big tree with what looks like felt leaves. Last up is Gabby's Dollhouse, and this is a legitimately incredible dollhouse full of 6 vibrant and imaginative rooms that will result in endless play for its target audience. Now it's time to introduce the last theme of the video, a brand spanking new action-adventure titled LEGO Dreamzzz. First up is the Nightmare Shark Ship, a ferocious and wacky boat with a lot of eerie details. Up next is Grimkeeper the Cage Monster, a towering monster that may look a little skinny, but it makes up for it by having a cage for its belly. Up next is the Pegasus Flying Horse, a beautiful equine opponent that gives me immediate Nightmare Moon vibes, and I also love the fact that the bird can also be rebuilt into a glider. Up next is Mr. Oz's Space Bus, a very slick flying machine, with its only weakness being that there's not enough school bus aesthetics. Up next is the Crocodile Car, a wacky animal vehicle hybrid that can also be rebuilt into a crocodile monster truck. Up next is Mrs. Castillo's Turtle Van, a weird-looking but highly detailed animal vehicle hybrid that can be converted into an ordinary van with ease. Up next is Mateo and Zablob the Robot, a very fun-looking mech suit piloted by a sentient blob creature that can have its head rebuilt into something more menacing. Up next is my favourite set of the wave, Izzy and Bunchu the Bunny, an adorable mechanical rabbit that can pull off a rollerblade and rocket look. Up next is Dream Village, a simple but effective collection of small and charming medieval buildings that can be rebuilt into one building. Up next is the Stable of Dream Creatures, a gorgeous and cozy looking building full of vibrant colours, and as a nice bonus, the deer can have its flowers swapped to the ones on the stable. Last up is the Fantastical Treehouse, a gorgeous and vibrant playset full of crazy and lively details that will create a lot of imaginative play.
That's pretty much all I have to say about these sets. I know I cherry-picked which themes I wanted to talk about, and I picked what looked like the most exciting stuff, in my opinion, and a lot of them are genuinely exciting, to the point where I can't wait for them to release. Anyway, that's all for now. Tell me what you think of these sets in the comments below, and thanks for watching.